Hello, it's Wednesday, February 10th. I'm Pastor Ann Fenlason from Trinity Lutheran Church in Long Lake, Minnesota. Greetings, welcome. So this coming Sunday is the Sunday that we celebrate or acknowledge the Transfiguration. It's a feast day in the church, and it is also the last Sunday before Lent starts. So Ash Wednesday always follows Transfiguration Sunday. What happens in the story of the Transfiguration is that Jesus goes up. He takes three of his disciples, Peter, James, and John. He takes them up to Mount Tabor. And while they're up there, something really incredible happens. They are witness to seeing Moses and Elijah show up with Jesus, and they talk. We don't know what they say to each other, but we know that they talk to each other. And then God's voice is heard. And what happens here is that what God says on Mount Tabor harkens back to what God said at Jesus' baptism. So let me read you the scripture. This is from Mark now. This is Mark's version of the Transfiguration. Jesus took with him Peter and James and John and led them up a high mountain apart by themselves. And he was transfigured before them, and his clothes became dazzling white, such as no one on earth could bleach them. And there appeared to them Elijah with Moses, who were talking with Jesus. And then Peter said to Jesus, "Rabbi, it is good for us to be here. Let us make 3 dwellings, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah." Peter did not know what to say, for they were terrified. Then a cloud overshadowed them, and from the cloud there came a voice. "This is my son, the beloved. Listen to him." Suddenly, when they looked around, they saw no one with them anymore, but only Jesus. So this is very much related in Mark's gospel, as I mentioned, to the story of Jesus' baptism. And so on the mountain, God says, "This is my son, the beloved. Listen to him." And at his baptism, God says, "This is my son, the beloved. With you I am well pleased." So as just a point of fact, before this scripture from the Transfiguration in Mark, Jesus has told his disciples about his death and resurrection. And most of them aren't listening. So that's part of it on the mountain. I wanted to talk briefly also about, I wanted to show you this icon that I purchased when I was in Greece a couple years ago. It's an icon of the Transfiguration. It's got gold leaf on it. It's kind of hard to see that here in the light. But you can see Jesus is always in blue. He's in the middle there. Moses is Moses is right here. It's red. He's wearing red. And on the other side here is Elijah. And you can see the 3 disciples at the bottom there, terrified, as we were told, right? Icons are lovely things. I didn't understand them until I took a course where someone who came from the Orthodox faith explained why they thought they were so important, why they were very important to their faith. And why that is, without going into a lot of detail, is that they are a visible gospel, the good news of Jesus Christ in a picture. And so for people, especially those who could not read the gospel, who couldn't read, they could see pictures and see the gospel here. So someone would look at this picture of the Transfiguration and see this bright light around Jesus, the terror of the disciples and Moses and Elijah there, and it would remind them of this story. What the Transfiguration does, that story of there, it reveals that Christ is greater than these 2 prophets, Moses and Elijah, and that he is the Lord of the living and the dead. And so we see again his glory. And it was a chance to reveal that and to give his disciples an assurance of who he was. Because Jesus knew what was coming. He was on his way to Jerusalem. So folks, come and hear the sermon on Sunday. Either sign up ahead of time or listen online. I have no idea what my sermon will be about, but it will be related to the Transfiguration. And then we start Lent next week, and I'll be talking a little bit about that too. So in the meantime, stay warm, and I'll see you at church. Bye-bye.